Hi, everyone.
Howdy, howdy. Happy Sunday. Feel free to put your camera on. We're getting so close. Put your camera on if you can. We don't mind if you're eating dinner. We don't mind if you're wearing a house coat. I'm wearing a house coat currently because it's Sunday night. And it's been raining all day. And I'm just getting cozy over here in upstate New York with the rain and the grossness and all that jazz. So feel free to put your camera on and say hello, because this is our last virtual meeting. It's so exciting. Our last one, and then the next one's in person, and then we're going.
Crazy.
So we are super excited. Michaela, you're here. So exciting. So I went to the Clifton Springs dinner on this past Thursday, the Volunteer Appreciation Dinner, which was awesome. And we had this great Gold Award Girl Scout who was speaking, or future Gold Award Girl Scout. And her name was Michaela. And I was like, Michaela, you did such a great job. Your speech was awesome. Love it. And Michaela's like, I'm going to Europe with you. And I was like, what?
Michaela, I also heard great things. Yeah.
Yeah, come to find out, good old Michaela has been skipping all my meetings so she could go to work. That's a valid reason.
Yes.
But I did not recognize you because your mom's been on the meetings, and so I'm really happy that you're here for this meeting. So it's really great to meet you, or have met you, I guess, before we meet in person on June 22nd. So, anyways. All right, it's 7:01. I'm going to give folks just one more minute, I think, to come in. Thanks to everyone who's on the meeting, our diehard folks that have been here from the very beginning. I'm certainly going to recognize all of you guys in the airport. I can't say that for all your compadres coming along on this trip. Hopefully they'll come to June 22nd as well, so we can, match faces to names before we go as well. So it's all good. This, I think, should be a pretty short meeting. There's not a lot to think about on this trip health-wise, because this trip is going to a country where we speak the language, we can drink the water. It's probably not going to be super hot. And if it is, everyone there's as pasty white as I am. So I'm assuming there's going to be copious amounts of sunscreen that we can lay our hands on. And we don't have to worry about, eating things off the street that could endanger our digestive tracts, things like that. So, yep, only about 71 more days, which is so exciting. Yay. So I guess, you know what, on that, let's get started. So I'm going to share my screen here and do a little PowerPoint. You know how I love my PowerPoints. And Sarah, if you could just keep your eyes peeled on ye old chat, that would be great. I got to start brushing up on my Shakespeare chat, right? Now I'm going to call it ye old chat. I feel like we all should come to this meeting on June 22nd with some version of an Irish or an English accent. How about we work on that in the meantime? Maybe. Mine always end up sounding Scottish. I'm not really sure what I'm doing wrong, but it's okay. I'll YouTube it maybe. I don't know.
I have to share that I turned 44 in March, so I feel like I have to say that with an Irish accent. I'm 44 now, like very serious, just so everyone knows, because I feel like that's a very Irish thing to say.
I feel like it's easier to say something like turkey tree, though.
Yeah.
It was like, maybe you should pretend like you've turned turkey tree. I spent a lot of time in the month of March watching one of my all-time favorite movies. It's called The Quiet Man. It stars John Wayne and Catherine O'Hara. Catherine O'Hara? Catherine O'Hara? Is Catherine O'Hara in she's, I don't know if that's right. Catherine O'Hara in A Quiet Man? Maureen. It's Maureen. It's Maureen O'Hara in The Quiet Man, and there's quite the Irish accent in those films. So I always kind of say the lines and practice my accent, but it's not getting any better. Anyways, long story short. All right, so here we go. I don't have any sound or video this time around, which is great. Because if you were on the last one, you crazy kids let me get through my whole video without telling me you couldn't see it. You maniacs. But this time I'm prepared with no sound or video whatsoever. So there we go. All right, let's see. There we are. We are screen sharing. We're going to do the slideshow. We're going to play it from the beginning, and we're going to talk a little bit about health and safety, staying safe on our trip. and the things that we can do to prep beforehand, and the things that we can do while we're on our trip to make sure that we're staying safe and healthy. It's going to be really hard for me to say. So what's on our agenda? I just have one slide on this, what to do before our tour, and then of course some things to do on tour, some quick tips and tricks of things that we have done in the past in order to stay healthy. Gonna just walk through the forms real quick because I sent them to you in the email last week about this upcoming meeting. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I can certainly answer those. And then I do have a slide that we're going to go over again on June 22nd, but there's some things that I want you to think about. If this should happen to you, what should we do? Because these are things that have happened on a lot of the trips that I've taken. And so it's nice to start thinking about all contingencies before we actually get on our trip. So there we go. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to pop them in the chat. And my good friend Sarah will let us know that there's something that we need to address. So let's talk about prepping for our trip. So here's a couple of quick things. Like I said, this trip is great, especially if you haven't done a lot of international traveling, because there's nothing really tricky about this trip. We're not going to a place, like I said, where we can't drink the water. We're not going to be finding, when I went to Ecuador, I wanted to eat the street food so bad. I was like so close so many times. And then our tour director would like come screaming up behind me and like slap it out of my hand real quick. People there was like liquid things in jugs on the side of the street and like all sorts of crazy stuff. And I just wanted to eat it so bad. There were coconuts. There were so many coconuts, but we could not eat it. Here, it's totally okay to eat stuff off the street. It is not a problem. So I keep seeing this thing pop up in my videos called a jacket potato. And there's these jacket potato trucks all over England, I guess. And it's just a baked potato, essentially, but they put all sorts of stuff on it. Baked beans and cheese and sour cream and like kind of crazy stuff. So I don't know, maybe I'll eat a jacket potato. It's not going to be as good as trying to eat a guinea pig or a lizard on a stick off the street in Ecuador, but at least I know that I probably won't get sick from it. So there we go. So to prep for our trip, there's a couple of things that you can do. I think the biggest thing that you could do if you're not super into it right now is to start walking. We're going to be walking 3 to 5 miles per day on this trip. So if you could take a walk around your block after dinner, try to walk for at least 30 minutes a day. If you haven't started, just kind of getting in the groove of walking. Some of the places that we're going to be walking are going to be on uneven ground. So we're going to the place where Shakespeare lived, and it's probably going to be cobblestoney and that sort of thing. I think in Ireland, we may be sort of off-roading it a little bit, which is great. So there could be some uneven terrain. You might want to take on some hills, that sort of thing, if you're walking around and trying to get some exercise in. So I at least try to walk around my block every night after dinner. It's good for digestion, but it's also just good to kind of get in the groove of things. If you have purchased new shoes or you're not sure what shoes you want to wear on this trip, walk in them. Put them on your feet and walk for a while in them and see if they're good to walk in. If they're not, if you're starting to get blisters, don't bring them on this trip. Make sure you're packing shoes that are comfortable. Do not pack for cute, pack for comfort. Keep that in mind. Our time change, we are going to be going through a little bit of a time change. London and Dublin, Ireland are both 5 hours ahead of us. So for this reason, we are probably going to, although I don't know yet, I am going to guess that we're going to be getting on a plane at some point mid-afternoon on the Saturday that we leave so that we can make our connection. And then we're going to have an overnight flight, a red-eye flight across the pond into Shannon. So we are going to be dealing with jet lag. What's going to happen is we're going to get into Shannon and we are not checking into our hotel. We're going to get, we have carry-on luggage. We're going to get all our stuff. We're going to meet our tour director, and then we're going to go. We're going to do something right away. We're not going to have time to take a nap. We're not going to check into our hotel. We are going to go. And that is because if we were to go to our hotel and check in and take naps, it would mess with our circadian rhythm and mess with the jet lag situation. So we're going to pretend that we've arrived rested and have gotten a lot of sleep on the plane, go through our whole day, and then that night you're going to be exhausted. There's not a lot planned on that first day, like with regards to evening activities and things like that. Dinner is generally pretty early, 5:30 at night, and then we go to bed, right? And so then you get your full night's sleep on that first night that we are in Ireland, and then the next morning you're going to wake up like nothing happened. And they do that on purpose. So that's something to expect to happen on that first day. That being said, if you know that jet lag affects you, or if you've never really traveled, so you don't know if it will affect you, there are a couple of apps that you can download. When I went to Japan, I downloaded an app called Time Shifter. It's a really cool app that tells you when you should go to sleep, when you should expose yourself to sunlight, when you should expose yourself to dim light. It starts to change your habits about a week before your trip, so that you can make really small adjustments that will help you adjust to the new time zone that you're going to be in. And then it does the same thing for the way back. So, like 3 or 4 days before we leave England to come home, it'll start telling you, like, expose yourself to sunlight at this time. Don't wear sunglasses, don't drink caffeine, or do drink caffeine, put your sunglasses on. It tells you exactly what you need to do. It's a paid app, but you get one trip for free. So if you want to download that and use this trip as your free trip, feel free. I'm out of free trips, but this leg of the journey here across the Atlantic it doesn't really affect me. I don't really get jet lag from this type of trip. So I'm not worried. However, that day when I'm completely exhausted and I want to die, you all should remind me that I said this in this meeting. And there you go. So the other one is Jet Lag Time Zone. That's another app that I just kind of downloaded and started playing around with today. It seems kind of cool. It's not as doesn't seem as specific as Time Shifter, but it's pretty neat, and it shows you like the sun, like at the waves and the time zones, and like where the sun's going to be and all that kind of stuff. So look into it. I'm sure there's plenty more of them. They're fun to play with, and it's interesting to think about how your body will react to this 5-hour difference in time. So the key is going to be sleeping on the plane. So what I will definitely recommend, and we'll talk about this on the 22nd as well, is don't treat the day before the day that you're leaving any differently than any other normal day, right? So on that Saturday, I'm going to be really tempted to sleep until like noon, because I know it's going to be like a hard travel day and we're going to, be moving. But I'm not. I'm going to wake up early like I always do, get out of my bed, have my coffee, all that sort of thing, because we want to treat it like a real day. And then on the overnight flight, we're going to want to sleep just like we're going to bed, right? So these little things, we're going to talk a little bit more in person, but these are little things that you can do to sort of prep for your trip. The other thing that you can do pre-trip that's going to be important is downloading the WhatsApp app on your phone. This is the way that the tour director is going to be in contact with myself and the other chaperones, because this is the standard app that folks in Europe use. If you have iPhone or a Samsung or an Android, that if you have friends that don't have the same kind of phone as you, sometimes they don't talk very well to each other. I have an iPhone, and a couple of my staff members, my camp staff folks, have Androids. We can't text each other because it doesn't work. Like, I don't get texts from them, but we are in a WhatsApp group chat, and it works perfectly fine. So that's why it's sort of an international app that people use, because it's translated all over the world and it's very easy to use. So that's how our tour director is going to stay in touch with me and with the chaperones. This is also how the chaperones are going to stay in touch with the people in their patrols. So on June 22nd, I'm going to put you all in groups, and you're all going to be assigned a chaperone that you'll check in with and make sure that they know where you are and you know where they are and all that jazz. And the way that you're going to get information is communication through this WhatsApp app. So it's important to download it now, maybe kind of look through it. If you kind of see, I don't know if Sarah noticed, but I sent her some requests to join my community and join my group and that sort of thing. But if I have you in my phone already from previous trips, or just because, you might start to see it come through as like, Liz has requested you to join her WhatsApp group. Those are legit. That's from me. I'm eventually going to start adding people. And then on the 22nd, I'm going to put my cell phones on the screen and tell you all to text me your phone numbers, and I'm going to add you on my phone. And then from there, I'm going to add you to my WhatsApp. Sounds complicated. It's not. It's pretty easy to use. So don't worry. We're going to walk through it as a group on the 22nd so that you're all set up and ready to use this. If nothing else, you should absolutely have an international data plan on your phone. We talked about this a couple of meetings ago. Make sure that your carrier will turn it on. I have AT&T, so mine will automatically turn on when I land in Ireland. It'll say, welcome to Ireland. Here's your international plans, $10 a day. You can also download an eSIM. That was actually in our last PowerPoint, and I'll make another slide for the in-person meeting. You can download an eSIM off the internet and you can pay for it and it will connect you and you'll be good to go for our trip. There's lots of different ways to do it, but make sure that you have some sort of plan so that you can get the WhatsApp on tour. All of our hotels will have Wi-Fi. So if you're concerned about your lack of Wi-Fi, or if you want to post pictures or have data on your phone that's not part of the plan, we will have Wi-Fi at night. So that's not a problem. When I was in Ecuador, it was pretty sketchy. And I would show up to a hotel or someplace with Wi-Fi and like 100 messages would pop up on my phone. For some reason, my phone was just not interested in keeping me in the loop. Luckily, there wasn't really anywhere to go or get lost in Ecuador. So it was pretty easy to keep track of people. Any questions about any of that sort of thing before we move on to our on-trip stuff, which I'm sure you have already read and are thinking about? No? All right. So on trip. We're going to keep our passports on us at all times. There are some group leaders on international trips, if you traveled not with Girl Scouts or on your own or whatever, that will leave their passports in the safe in their hotel room, or in luggage on the bus or whatever. We are not doing that. You will keep your passport on you at all times. I will do passport checks on the bus. We're going to do passport checks before we leave hotels. If you lose your passport, we're going to have to spend a lot of time at the U.S. Embassy in these countries, and you're going to miss parts of the trip. And I don't want that to happen. The easiest way to avoid that is by making sure you have your passport on you at all times. I have a sling bag that has a secret pocket on the side, like right under my armpit. And I am like, you're going to see me. I'm going to be like that SNL character that like puts her hands under her armpits. Remember her, Shannon or whatever her name played her. I'll be touching like under here. And that's because I'm just checking to make sure my passport's there. I need to be able to touch it pretty consistently to make sure that it's with me. It's also going to be really helpful if you have a place on you to keep your passport to avoid pickpockets. So that can be a thing in some larger cities like Dublin and in London. So we're just going to keep aware of that kind of thing too. Always you want to keep your phone on you too. Don't try not to leave that in places, but definitely keep your passport on you. On June 22nd, I'm going to ask you to bring your passport with you to Hoover. I need to make color copies of your passports. A lot of hotels, when you travel overseas, require passports upon check-in. And if our tour director has them ahead of time, they can do the check-in process for us. So it's a little bit easier when we show up to these hotels. Additionally, if you do end up losing your passport, your patrol leader is going to have a copy of it. I'm going to have a copy of it. You should take a picture of it with your phone so that you have a picture of your passport in your phone, just in case as well. We want to make sure that we have all of our bases covered in case something happens and you are separated from your passport. Keep your money in your wallet in a pouch or pocket that's not easily accessible. Like I said before, in my sling bag, I have lots of hidden pockets. I always keep my wallet and money on the inside of the bag, never in outside pockets. That's something that you never know. Pickpockets are really, really, really smart. It doesn't really take a lot for them to get things from you. So make sure that you keep your valuables in a safe spot. I also don't recommend bringing a lot of jewelry and stuff that you find to be valuable. I don't ever wear my wedding ring on these trips. I usually just wear, I don't know, my little throwaway gold band here and that sort of thing. Don't pack your chandelier diamond earrings. You probably don't need them. Just leave it home. You don't need it. Plus, I always buy earrings overseas as like a keepsake. I have earrings from all the countries that I visited. So it's a great opportunity to purchase something to bring home. Especially in Ireland, there's some delightful Celtic knot jewelry and some Connemara marble, which is gorgeous and things like that. So, travel in groups, you're never, ever going to be anywhere by yourself. We're always going to travel in groups of at least pairs, but more safely in truddies or more. So especially during the day, and stay with your assigned group. Hydrate or dehydrate. I always say that. So we're all going to bring a reusable water bottle with us, preferably something that's like a thermal insulated kind of thing. I occasionally bring my Nalgene because it's light when it's empty, but the water gets super warm really quickly and it's kind of gross. So you're going to want to bring a water bottle, and I would highly recommend bringing something like a liquid IV hydration tablet. They have the little, I usually have some that I'll show, but I'll bring some on the 22nd. Actually, I'll bring some for everyone to try so you can see if you like them before you buy them, because they are expensive. But they're little, I don't know, they're just little pouches that you put the powder in and shake it up in your water. It just kind of helps you. I find it to be really helpful on airplanes because I hate getting up to go to the bathroom on an airplane. and I always get dehydrated because it's so, so dry on the airplane. So I drink these liquid IVs in my water, and it helps me to stay hydrated without having to go to the bathroom. We'll talk about that on the 22nd, though. And then last but not least, of course, this is going to be hard to do in Ireland, I think, because word on the street is that everyone there is overly friendly. But have we're going to say have situational awareness. So, just be aware if people are coming at you out of nowhere. If someone in a crowded square is trying to give you a friendship bracelet or tie something on your bag or get you to sign if they have a clipboard and they're like, we're signing petitions for, for homeless people in Dublin, or we want to, help in Paris. There was a scam. People were signing contracts to like help deaf people like get education or whatever. It's a scam. While you're signing those things, while you have the clipboard in front of your face, people are taking things out of your backpack. Okay. So just have that situational awareness. Don't take things from people. Watch for pickpockets. And you'll be safer if you do. Any questions, comments, or concerns about that? Now, on my recent trip to London, I didn't feel unsafe at all. I never did. It's a pretty safe city. So I say that with my usual like grain of salt, though, because there are sketchy people all over the place. So I just want to be aware of them. All right, so on to forms. So I sent you the forms in the email last week, and they are pretty standard things. So the code of conduct / adult behavior contract is there. Code of conduct is for our kid travelers. Adult behavior contract is for our adult travelers. Basically, we're going to follow the Girl Scout promise and law during this trip, right? We're going to be respectful to people. We're not going to leave our crap all over the bus and hotel rooms. We're going to make sure that we are not smoking, drinking, vaping, etc. on this trip. Being respectful to our tour director and listening to them when they're talking, that sort of thing. So you all know, the drill. You're Girl Scouts and you know how to behave. Medication for travel. So this one is a little sketchy. If you're a kid traveling with a parent or adult or a guardian on this trip, you have medications, you don't need to fill this out. Your parent or guardian is responsible for these prescriptions. There's no reason for you to fill this out. Your parent can give it to you. They can dispense the medication. You're totally fine. If you're traveling by yourself and you're not 18, I would like it if you would fill this form out so that I know what kind of medications that you're traveling with, just in case, and that you can prescribe it. So that you can take it yourself. So if you know that you have to take an allergy pill every single morning, you always do it. That's your thing. Pack 10 of them in a baggie or a little pill bottle or whatever, one for each day that we travel. Make sure you put it on that form. Make sure your mom or your dad or your whoever signs it. Doctor can sign off. That's fine too. Just in case, if something happens, say something were to happen and we had to take you to urgent care. Let's say you get traveler's diarrhea or something. They'll ask me what medications that you're on, and I want to be able to tell any health people exactly what you're taking, how much, and that it's good to go. So that's for your safety. I don't care what medications you're on. I'm not telling anyone. HIPAA applies here. I just need to know just in case something happens to you. You all need to be able to administer your own medication. If you don't, if you're too young or if there's something sketchy about your medication, email me and we'll talk through it and how to make that work. Traveler health and medical profile. This is an editable PDF that's found on the EF website. And it has pretty much everything on there. It has, questions about medications or concerns, or it just has all kinds of things on there. You can fill it out right on the website and print it out and bring it, and that's totally fine. Not required, but recommended. This is the notarized parental authorization form. This was a link that was in the email. I didn't attach the form because it's through a link. This is typically required when you travel to places like South Africa. Belize, I think, requires it. There's a couple of other countries in the world that do require a notarized parental authorization form. If you have access to a notary public, if this is something that you could do, I would recommend that you do it. I'm not really sure what's happening in the world these days. If you're traveling by yourself without a parent on this trip, I would recommend this. This gives you permission to travel with me. and with Girl Scouts. And it basically says that I didn't steal you and I'm not trying to traffic you and that you're supposed to be on this trip. Like I said, our countries don't require it. It's not a requirement through EF. If you're feeling like you want to cross all your T's and dot all your I's, and if you're feeling that you want that as a backup, do it. I recommend it. You don't need it. It's not required. So, any questions, comments, concerns? Great. This lovely person here on the slide is telling you to tell me if you have any dietary or health restrictions, including food allergies. Our tour director is the one that makes all the reservations at our restaurants. They're responsible for all the food on this trip. So if you have food allergies, let me know so that I can let them know, and we can make sure that the restaurants are doing what they need to do to make sure that you can eat. If you have any health restrictions, if you know that you're on, some medication that makes you feel really dizzy if you get too high, that's important to know. If you need accommodations for seizure, like if you know that XYZ causes you to have seizures and you're on medication for it or whatever, that could be probably good to know. Anything that you think might be helpful for me to know, and for our tour director to know, just let us know. Like I said, this information isn't really going anywhere. It's just to make sure that you all have a safe and healthy trip. And if something does happen, that we have all the information that we need in order to make sure that you're okay. Questions? Great. So here's a little question and answer. We're going to talk about this definitely a lot more on the 22nd. But here are some questions to think about while we're on this tour. Okay. What if I feel sick? You're probably going to feel sick, I would say, at some point during this trip. Whether it's because you're feeling jet lagged, whether it's because you haven't had enough to drink, you might have your period on this trip and you might feel the effects of that. Something probably along the way will make you feel a little bit unwell. If it's something where you think you can't participate, definitely let us know. Otherwise, we have ways to work through this kind of thing. As I mentioned in the past meeting last month, even if you had your period, if you haven't had your period, if you're not expecting to get it, it's pretty likely you're going to get it on this trip. So prepare. Every single one of these trips I've been on, somebody's been like, I did not expect this to happen. And we kind of have to scramble for supplies and, medications and things like that. So just prepare ahead of time. Stress sometimes exacerbates that as well. So just prepare yourself. Better to be prepared than not. If you lose something like your phone or your passport, think about what you would do in that situation. We have a contingency plan. Does it match ours? I don't know. We're going to see what happens. If you're feeling nervous or homesick, you have a lot of people that you can lean on for support. We're going to talk about this on the 22nd as well. You'll have your patrol first and foremost. You're going to have your chaperone patrol leader, Debbie, Sarah, or Beth. I'm going to be there as well. So there's going to be lots of things that we can do to hopefully alleviate the nervousness and homesickness. It's only 10 days as well. So, hopefully it's something that we can kind of hop over and get over and then come back on the upslide on the other side, right? If you get lost or separated from the group, there's a couple of different scenarios in which this could possibly happen. So we're definitely going to be talking about what happens if you get lost or separated based on what situation or scenario that you're in. So start thinking about what you could do in that situation. And then, of course, if you're having trouble with your roommates, that's another scenario that could pop up. And what do we do in that situation? So the biggest thing that I can tell you, and the things that we're going to be talking about on the 22nd as well in person, is advocate for yourself. This is a trip that is yours. You chose to come on this trip. You're choosing to participate, and you're choosing to interact with other humans. If any of these things or more happens, advocate for yourself. Come talk to me. Don't let it slide. If something's bothering you, if you're having an issue, come and talk to one of us. Let us know what's happening. Advocate for yourself. This is your trip. We want you to have fun, and we'll figure out a solution. That's our job. Our job is to figure out solutions to make sure that your trip is as amazing as it can possibly be. But we don't know what we don't know. So if you're having troubles, let us know, and we're going to help you through it. I will tell some funny stories about some situations that happened on previous trips on the 22nd, and we will all have a good laugh And we will all know that it's okay if things go crazy or wrong or weird, because we're better people for it. So there you go. Any questions about any of these things? Like I said, we're going to delve deeper into this. So between now and June 22nd, our in-person meeting at Hoover, start thinking about, like, what are you nervous about? What do you think might happen on this trip that maybe you wouldn't be expecting, or maybe would kind of like throw you off your game? And we'll talk through it, and we'll work on solutions to those things that might happen. But also you should think about all the awesome things that are going to happen. And I've been thinking about the food lately, not going to lie, having to go to these volunteer appreciation dinners and trying all the different foods and things that had been served over the couple of weeks. I am now just thinking about food and what I'm going to eat. Welsh rarebit's definitely on the list. Jacket tomato, maybe, but I hate baked beans, so I don't know, but I might try it. Potato, not tomato. And then sticky toffee pudding. I'm going to eat that. I don't care where I get it from. It's going to happen. It's going to be in my mouth, and it's going to be delicious. So anyways, so don't just think about the things that could possibly go wrong. With any luck, nothing is going to go wrong.
Definitely
right. And it's going to be amazing. So does anyone have any questions, comments, any thoughts on any of this stuff that we talked about during today's meeting? So I think the biggest, like, sort of unknown for us right now is the weather and what that's going to be like. I remember last summer, I was talking with some colleagues that we were in Ecuador, obviously, and it was chilly. It was not warm. You think, south of the equator, and it's going to be delightfully hot there. It wasn't. I did not pack enough warm clothing. But I was talking with some folks that were in England last summer, and it was hot. It was like a heat wave, and people were like really struggling with the heat. So this one's going to be a little bit of a hard one to pack for, I think, because we're not going to really know until you can see that like 14-day, forward on the weather and get a little bit closer and that sort of thing. So the weather could be something that really throws us for a loop. So I did find, though, I will mention, I found these awesome like travel pants at Costco that are made out of like sort of polyester nylon blend. They're kind of like wind pants. And I wore them to the annual meeting, and they were soaked by the end of the day. But by the time I got home, they were completely dry. It was awesome. So something like that would be great. If you can find clothing that quick dries, especially if it's going to be a little bit rainy or misty in Ireland, which it probably will be. Start wearing those clothes now and like see what's comfortable and see what you like. I sat in my car and drove home from the annual meeting in these pants that were wet and gross, but they were not uncomfortable. So those are definitely going on the trip with me. So just start thinking ahead, start thinking about those kinds of things, and you'll be ready. You'll be good to go. So our next meeting, like I said, this is our final virtual meeting. Our next meeting is in person, Sunday, June 22nd at Camp Hoover. It's going to be at 11 o'clock. We'll keep it from 11 to 2 o'clock. It'll be over the lunch hour. I am going to be providing lunch. So it's important to let me know if you do have any dietary restrictions prior to that meeting, so I can make sure that we accommodate you. At that meeting, I'll be taking all forms filled out and signed. So you don't have to email me them back. You don't have to send them to my email address if you don't want to. Just fill them out and bring them with you on that day. Adult travelers only. If you could please bring $120 in US dollars cash for tips. You also can Venmo me that day. I'm going to have my little Venmo QR code on the table, so you can always just personally Venmo me the money if you prefer that as well. I'm not asking youth travelers for this because we earned some cookie credits this season. And so the youth tips are covered by our cookie sales. So thanks to everyone who sold cookies over the last couple of years for this trip. And to anyone that supported the cookie sales, we are able to cover your tips for any youth travelers, which I'm really excited about. So good job. Sorry, adults, not for you. You must bring your own tips. And then last but not least, your passport. I need to make color copies, as I mentioned. I need to make 3 color copies of each of your passport pages. So make sure you bring your passport with you. If you know you're not going to be there, a few folks have already said that they're not going to be there. That is okay. If you could make your own color copies in some way and bring them like to the airport or mail them to me, that would be fine too. Like I said, this information is mostly for in case something happens. I don't need it ahead of time. I need it for the trip. I need it when we're going. So you have any questions, comments, concerns, just let me know and we can figure it out. And I think that's it. I feel like I am forgetting something. Forms, money, passport. I don't know. I'm sure that I'm forgetting something. So I'm going to be sending out a couple of emails probably before this. Definitely going to be sending out emails with our flight and hotel information, which are probably going to be coming before our in-person meeting on the 22nd. As soon as I get that information from EF Tours, I'll send it. I'll email it to you. And I think that's it. Is that my last slide? Yeah, it is. Yes.
There you go.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Can hardly wait to go.
Yes, I'm so excited. Yeah. I was talking with Beth, I think at where were we? Clifton Springs. And we were just talking about how like it's gonna creep up on us and it's almost here. It'll be here suddenly. We were talking about the food. Actually, Beth and I were chatting about that too, eating our chicken, delicious chicken dinner. And yeah, it was pretty awesome. So it's gonna be here sooner than it's not. And I'm just so excited. I'm really looking forward to it. What are you guys looking forward to? And our last couple of minutes here, I won't take you. I won't take up too much more of your time on this Sunday evening, but what are the things you're looking forward to?
Hoping to find my grandpa's house in Wales.
That's exciting. All right.
That would be good. I have the address.
That would be pretty cool. Yes. And we'll touch base with our tour director beforehand and we'll see. We'll see if we're getting close to that. Very cool. What else? What else are you excited for?
Being with Girl Scouts again.
Yeah.
Yay! Very exciting. Yep, we love it. And we're happy to see that you're coming along with us, Catherine. Very cool. Yeah, the sheepdog presentation. That's going to be super cool. I'm excited. I love a good sheepdog. And sheep, just sheep in general. I hope we get to pet some sheep, right? Those are pretty cute. The problem is, no, I won't even say it. Never mind. I'm looking forward to petting sheeps. Anything else? Who else is looking forward to things?
I'm excited for the food.
Yes, the food. So much food.
Yeah. It'll be good. In England, I'm hoping my grandson comes to meet me because he's in the Air Force.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're hoping that we can meet.
Yep, that would be super cool too. Yay. All right. Oh, the food, the shopping. Yeah, the shopping. Oh, the shopping. Yes, the shopping.
I am so excited to get a real Irish sweater and ship it home. I cannot wait for that. I'm going to save all my money, and that's going to be my one thing I'm going to pay for and send home. I can't wait.
Yay, that's exciting. I love it. Anything else?
I want to do the Harry Potter thing we're doing.
Oh yeah, the Harry Potter, the walking tour in London. That's going to be exciting. We love that. There's some Harry Potter stuff coming out too. I think there's new series, new movies, new shows. I don't know, soda bread. Yes. We love some good soda bread. Yep. Anything else? No? All right, start dreaming of the things you're looking forward to seeing and doing. And we're all going to touch base and talk about it on the 22nd. At that meeting, like I said, you're going to meet your chaperone that you're assigned to. You're going to meet the other kiddos and folks that are in your group, in your patrol group. We're going to do some fun activities. We're going to talk about packing. And I'll have an amazing PowerPoint from EF. That's our Let's Go PowerPoint. So it's going to be good times. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns in the meantime, feel free to reach out to me. If you have any dietary restrictions or needs, let me know before I order some lunch for our meeting on the 22nd. And with that, happy Sunday. We're almost there. 71 more days, baby. We can do it. All right. Take care, everyone. Thanks for hanging with me on this dreary Sunday.
Great to see everyone.
Good to see you all. We'll see you soon. See you on the 22nd.
Okay. Now do I know how to do
You did it, Debbie. You're good.
Now, if I know how to turn it off, it'd be great.
Very good. All right. Bye. Take care.
You too. Thank you.